everyone. Thank you for attending our special note class today. We are broadcasting from Yamato HQ, and my name is Akira, and this is Megumi, and we're talking about curry udon, and that's really exciting because curry udon's been around for a while, and it's there are a lot of people like for actual raving fans, for curry udon, and we want to talk about it because it's very deep, and there are like over 100 of like curry udon specialty restaurant that they specialize in serving curry udon. Like that's crazy, right? For you guys, watching you from other countries, that's yeah, special like curry udon specialty shop. That's crazy. So we are doing some lecture first, and then Mimi is gonna make udon noodles. They're specially made for curry udon, and then we're gonna today we're lucky, and we're gonna have like just a little bit like small session like in kitchen, and our instructor is gonna make some curry udon dish, and so we'll show you that, and then for you guys, like, who have any questions during the class, like, please feel free to send them in the comments. So thank you. So let's get started on the lecture first. And so curry udon, like curry. So what is curry udon, right? So curry udon was like curry been around like for at least over 1,000 years, right? And then like across the world, there are many people like for well. Basically, well, fascinated, like mesmerized with curry, and but like for Japanese, I think it's been like I believe it like it's about like 100 years or something. Like so, like at least like for regular people, common people, like for just started kind of experiencing what a curry is, and like for Japanese, like curry is like there are many variations. Like there are many different curry dishes, but like curry, but basically like, to Japanese, like curry, is like kind of rice curry, and you got kind of like curry sauce and then rice, right? So for the carbohydrates, like we like rice is kind of standard, right? Like udons being udon is like of course like traditional udon noodles, that cuisine that's been around like 100 years, right? And then so it's like ramen. Like ramen came like from China, and then like we kind of modified it into kind of in favor of like kind of Japanese palate, and then we did the same thing with curry. I mean, then we made udon out of it. So like that's what Japanese is good at, and kind of modifying it, like making our version of that. And so, but curry udon, like seriously, yeah, there are hundreds of restaurants that specialize in serving just curry udon. So, and yeah, so that's really you know great topic to talk about today. So we want to see like how we can make great curry udon, um, and it's like key to that. We think that it's a match between like noodles and soup, and that's with like everything else, right? Like the noodle dishes, like ramen. That's a match between like noodles and soup. So that's the same thing with curry, and so we're gonna dive into like curry soup and noodles later, but like let's just first like talk about like types of curry, right? These are just fraction of like curry, like that are kind of popular across different countries, and of course like curry, it seems to come from like, India, right? So like they allow like different types of variations like Indian curry, and of course like we have like butter chicken, sweeteners and cheese. These are like kind of viscous type of curries, and then they also have like keema curry, like that's all like kind of soupless curry, right? Um, and then when you go to Thai, like Thai food, like they have like many great dishes, but like they also have curry, and that's green and red. But these types of curries like are kind of more like fluid, like watery, kind of more liquid to it, right? Compared to India like viscous curry. And there's a UK version, right? UK version, and I think Japanese like stole their curry from UK, right? And then so UK version, they well cook it like name like it's based on beef, I believe, and it's like beef tenderloin. Then they cook it and then with a like adding a lot of like curry spices to make their curry, and it's viscous, and then and a Japanese curry is based on, I believe, it is based on that UK version, and it's yeah, and then a lot of like big food manufacturer like started like mass producing like this curry paste, and yeah, well, it's used like at home and then by restaurants, the commercial scene, right? So, but like so Japanese version of curry, well, udon, especially like we are talking about, is basically so this curry paste, right? Curry paste, like that maybe like sold at supermarket, like by this food manufacturer, and plus the dashi stock, right? Dashi stock, because like existing udon shops, like already, they only making of like all these dashi stocks like for their regular soup, right? So that stock's like made out of kelp, like dried sardine, like shiitake mushroom, typically, right? And then dried fish flakes, and there are some udon shops like they make the dashi stock right from like some vegetables too, and so basically this liquid, right? There's like that stock like liquid being liquid, but like the curry paste being like really viscous, right? So kind of like diluting this curry paste with the dashi stock, and so yeah, so that's basically what the like a curry soup of like Japanese version curry udon is, and so it's kind of nice, right? Because it's kind of seafood curry soup. If you have like all these like kelp and dry sardine and everything. Um, so, but yeah, but that's been like kind of then, but still discuss, and because the amount of dash that they add is like depends, right? Depends on the udon shop, but like typically that's viscous. And so and then other types like curry, like we've seen, like is a straight away combination. So like which is like Thai green curry udon, and this is like really popular actually. And yeah, we've seen this type of curry udon. Well, actually, in a lot of like even like small udon shop, like in a small town of Japan, and even at like kind of big chain of like udon shop, like that's operating overseas as well. So Thai green curry udon like is very popular, and another trend that's been going on like is kind of crafty and original type of curry soup, and well, these are typical like kind of small small like udon restaurants or like some not like non-udon restaurant, non-specialty udon restaurants that serve curry udon, and they blend their own like sort of like curry spices and and a variety of dash stocks that they make just for their curry soup, right? And then they sometimes add like like some milk and kind of milk to sort of like kind of modify like kind of their own curry soup, right? And so it's kind of this type of like kind of stem from kind of Japanese version curry, and that's like modified to Japanese taste, but like but Japanese people the palate like taste well prefers like kind of grow over time, like by experience like different experiencing different cuisines, different types of cuisine like that are coming from different countries, right? So as they grow and get like more educated, like they kind of started preferring like all these kind of more like authentic curry, um, kind of modified it to slightly modified, like with the different options that they have. So I think the curry soup, like when you're talking about curry soup, like what's important is like whether it's viscous or fluid, like watery, and so that sort of determines the kind of noodles like we want to use, right, for our curry. And so noodles, We think like they're like different in terms of sizes. We have like thick, right? Thick like a Sanuki udon. It's like typical like 3 by 5 like centimeter noodle size. And this type of like thick noodles like typically like paired with viscous type curry soups. Like so, yeah, it's like Japanese version of it, like or yeah, the probably this type. Like depends on like what kind of viscosity we're talking about, but typically like the most popular one is like thick and or flat type of noodles. That kind of like they're paired with viscous type curry soup and medium to thin noodles, and they tend to be paired with like lighter, kind of looser type of the curry soup, or kind of like soupless version, right? Like kind of keema curry. Yeah. So basically, noodle size like because they have to stay right, the hot soup like hot curry soup like for certain period of time like before they get uh, bitten like tasted like consumed like so they have to have like certain size to be able to like kind of withstand that well the temperature in that hot soup right hot curry soup. So as the like temperature goes up like the noodle size goes up. So that's how you sort of like think about your noodle size for your curry. And if you're talking about the toppings for curry udon, right? It's like because existing udon shop, like what kind of topping would you think about like when talking about toppings for udon, right? Is that like that's tempura, right? That's tempura, and yeah, tempura is like really great toppings for curry because it's got like this fluffy butter. Like it's like a sponge, right? Sponge like that will absorb like all the curry sauce, and just eating like with that, just dipping on curry sauce, and then like just like absorbing all that good stuff like in that butter. That's really good. And so for udon shop, like that's already making variety of like tempura. A lot of people like soft boiled egg. That's really good. Like egg with the curry. That's a really good combination. And I come across like some this is like curry udon specialty shop, and they are serving like some deep fried banana actually. The banana gets sweeter, right? Like as the gets heated. It's like kind of like sweet and kind of spicy curry, and that's an interesting combination. And yeah, like something like if you're interested, like I want you guys to try it. And but like all the other like ingredients that you can deep fry and that go with like curry, you can think about all these like different ingredients. And of course, like like other topics, like you could have like cheese is an option. So basically, the curry like it's very uh, they're flexible. It's very versatile. Like so, it's like up to your imagination, like what kind of curry udon like you can make. And so, yeah, let's try making our own version like curry udon, and see how we can make it. And so over here we have all the ingredients for udon noodles for curry udon, and it's like flour. And so this is the flour for udon noodles, and then flour for udon noodles like is a like kind of lower, has like lower protein content, like 8 to 9%, like compared to ramen flour, which is like 10 to like 13% in protein content. So it's gonna dump this in the mixer first, and yeah, for those who like meeting this machine for the first time, like this machine called like Shinuchi machine. It's an all-in-one noodle machine that's designed to do udon noodles, and that's a mixer. And so what she's started doing over here is that like she's uh, melting, dissolving all this salt um, in the water, and it's a lot of salt that we add to the flour to make udon. And yeah, so it's like we are making like kind of like water, kind of salt water that's yeah, that's like 12 like that's like 12% to like 15% on a salty level. So that's a lot of water actually. That's way saltier than the water, seawater definitely. And then this is a vinegar. Um, so we put vinegar as well to um, to control the pH level of the dough. And for those who are concerned about the taste being like too um, sour from the vinegar, like you don't have to worry about it because once you cook the noodles, most of the vinegar is like going to the cooking water, so you won't taste. So the mixing time is 5 minutes, but we hate wasting we hate to waste your time like this only for like mix 5 minutes. So like make me made this dough in advance. So this dough has gone through the 5 minutes of mixing and 2 hours of resting time at 28 degrees Celsius. So that's that we call like first aging. And so this dough is now up for the pressing process. So pressing process. So basically, we are kind of working this dough, much like working muscle, working out your muscle. We are working this dough to, well, basically, well, yeah, make it stronger, like make it firm. And so there's a gluten, right? Gluten inside udon dough, and we're working this gluten to, well, to be stronger, firmer. And so this is a press machine, and so the press that is like going up, right? And then gets the dough gets pushed at the top, right? Pushed at the top, and so like really so much pressure like applied, right, in the dough, right? And coming up, coming down, and so this press machine basically mimics the um, old kind of like old way of like working the dough. And like on old days, like people actually would like step on it, right? Step on the dough to yeah, do the same thing, like just walk the dough. And yeah, by using like their own weight, right? But nowadays, I mean, that's a lot of work. That's actually hard work. Like you have to like step on it, like almost like for an hour or something, like for this batch of dough, right? And it yeah, it may look easy, but like it's actually a tough job. Like you'll be sweating by the end of it. So this press machine like makes it really easier. Then all you have to do is just press it for 3 to 5 times. So that's way faster, way easier than yeah, traditional way of like foot stepping. Yeah, so like as you can see, that dough is like coming together, right? And then maybe you'll see that like it's the surface getting smoother, right? And then it's going for the third press. going for the third press, and it's coming down. Sure. Like notice like she's folding it inwards, right? And so that's like she's doing that like to make sure that like all the areas, right? All the areas of that dough gets, the kind of same amount of pressure, gets worked up, and that's a up button. And okay, so on the mixer side, um, yeah, it's like 4 minutes passed, and so she's supposed to like clean inside and like restart the mixer with the rest of the water for 1 more minute. So the total mixing time is just 5 minutes, and so that's the dough like that's going to like 4 times of the press, right? And notice that like she's doing the mixing, right? Mixing and then press machine like at the same time, right? So you can do these processes simultaneously, and I guess they're the motors are separate, and she's actually dividing the dough into pieces, right? She's doing that now because she wants to make sure that like she wouldn't have like well um, piece that's like too big for her to be able like sort of like sheet it next day. Um, so she's like kind of dividing the dough into the piece that's like kind of small enough for her to be able to like kind of do that kind of sheeting like kind of efficiently. And see the like layers, right? Layers. So that's how many times like gets folded and layered. So and that's kind of secret of like good udon texture as well. Like, and the yeah the number of layers like kind of tell you like tells you that how elastic viscoelastic this dough is. And so these pieces of dough are going to the second aging process, second resting process. So in udon making, like we do the resting process like twice, two stages of the resting to make sure that we have gonna have like really good textured dough. Okay, so that's overnight, and I'm sure you guys don't want to wait till tomorrow. So yeah, maybe we made this dough like in advance yesterday, right? And so that's that's a dough like she made yesterday, and so now she's going to sheet it and cut it. So I do have to add a lot of like dusting powder, which is actually exactly the same flour that she made used to like make this dough, but um, Well, just to like kind of make sure that like it's not gonna stick, right? Yeah. So thank you for asking questions. So like the second resting process, like we do the uh, 18 degrees Celsius, 18 degrees Celsius overnight. Uh, so overnight means it's about like 16 hours. Um, And then, so basically, the higher the temperature, the less shorter time, shorter resting time. Like, if you like make it too high, then you may will spoil the dough. So it's not good. And notice like she's sheeting the dough like kind of like gradually thinner, right? Every round of like sheeting, like well, the dough is getting like thinner and thinner gradually, not like drastically. And so that's to ensure the we're not well damaging the gluten structure inside this dough. The sheeting, and then um, so from this point on, like you guys may have like noticed that like well the display, right, the number, the display is changing, right, and so that's actually a thickness of the dough that's being brought sheeted. And so there's a sensor that well measures the thickness of dough. Um, yeah, there's like a red like laser beam like that's like hitting the dough to measure the thickness, right? So so you kind of know like how thick or how thin the dough is like getting, right? And um, so you kind of like you have like sort of like indication that like okay, like the dough is like getting closer to the final thickness before we cut it, right? So this is a good, yeah, it's a very useful feature that this machine has. And let's see, so that's 5.7 millimeter, but like she doubled the dough, so 5.6 or yeah, it's like 6 point. So you have to like, yeah, 6.1, like you have to divide it by 2. So that's like 3.05 millimeter thickness. So let's make a final thickness 3 millimeter, and yeah, let's cut it, right? So the width is determined by this cutting, right? So basically we cut it, right? Well, bigger than the thickness. So usually, like if it's like 3 millimeter, we cut it like to the width of like that's kind of 1.8 times bigger than the thickness. So we are aiming to like around like 4.8 to like 5.0. So you can adjust the width, right? You can adjust width with this machine like pretty easily. So noodles are getting cut. I mean, the dough is getting cut into noodles, and there's a tray that's moving like underneath this work table, and that's where the noodles are. And yeah, so that tray is like kind of collecting the noodles that are kind of being dropped from the conveyor above, right? And then so it's not gonna be like the noodles like kind of well collected like in the one place, like kind of there's a mountain of like noodles like in the southern spot or something. That's you know it's not good. So we have all these noodles has sort of like lined up nicely when you pull out the tray, and kind of making it easier to for you to be able like kind of pick them up and like yeah, put them away for cooking, or if you're not serving the noodles like right away, um, yeah, dust them well, and then like put them away for kind of temporary storage. So yeah, that's yeah. So like these are beautiful udon noodles for curry udon noodles. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so let's bring them to the kitchen and yeah, see what we have, kind of curry udon we have for today's class. So this is our kitchen, and um, yeah, normally we have like our ramen class, ramen school, ramen class like yeah, udon school, like soba school here, and we have exactly the same facility in Tokyo. But like because of situation with COVID, like it's kind of be hard for us to like have like conduct any classes over there. But like yeah, we've been doing some classes over here from time to time, like when we have like enough students. But under the current situation, like with COVID, like it's very hard for like people to move around. So especially from overseas. But we have like Miss Sano, instructor at our Yamato Ramen Noodle School, and we're lucky to have her like well show us what she got. So thank you. はい、では、Okay. 進めていきます。All right, so let's start with the noodles. と湯がくところから始めます。 Okay, so these are the like noodles. Actually, these are the noodles we made. Like yeah, especially yellow. These are actually noodles that have like some like curry powder kneading. And so we have like two types of noodles for our curry udon. Okay, so I'm gonna cook the first like regular udon noodles first, right? So when we are cooking noodles, like, you have to have like all this cooking water, like kind of rolling, boiling like this, right? Before you put noodles in. So I'm making the hot soup udon today, right? So like I'm gonna cook it for 9 minutes. Okay, so after we put the noodles in, right, and then so when we put noodles in, the temperature drops, and sometimes, yeah, sometimes drops to the point like where it's not boiling anymore. But like after like you get that boiling going, right, and then we want to like kind of reduce the heat. Yeah, so like normally, I let them swim for like 3 minutes before I catch them on the net. But I'm cooking like another batch, so I'm just gonna catch them the net and just let it sit like that. Okay, yeah, because I'm like cooking the another batch, right? So let's turn it up and yeah, bring it to boil. Yeah, so that's a curry powder needed udon noodles. Okay, So what I'm doing is that like to make sure the noodles are gonna come to surface as fast as possible. So like kind of by storing them, so it's like kind of like getting all these noodles kind of warmed up as fast as I can, and so that they started like kind of swimming around and kind of coming to the surface of the water. Yeah, but it's a bit early to like to catch them in the net, but like yeah, just to save you guys time, like yeah, I'm just gonna catch them in the net. Okay, so it takes 9 minutes, and so I cook them in advance. So these are the cooked version. Okay, so I'm gonna use them to start like topping, like plating. So I'm gonna make like two types of like curry udon today. So I made like two types of curry sauce. So basically the difference is like one is like viscous, so like the other one is like kind of loose and kind of more like watery. Okay, so let's start plating. Okay, so let's first like start with curry powder like kneaded noodles first, and because it's a hot soup, curry udon. Yeah, so I should warm it up, and then yeah, notice like she's also applying this cooking water into the bowl, right? Why she's doing that is like she's actually warming the bowl at the same time. Like that's really efficient. Okay, so I'm gonna add the kind of watery version, like loose version of the curry sauce. Yeah, it's almost like a soup, right? Okay, so I'm gonna plate the toppings. Yeah, I'm gonna place these chopped up leeks in the center. Yeah, so the technique, like the key to the like great like plating is that like you have to well some add like some dimension to it. Like so yeah, so it's like a construction of like kind of blocks, the structure sort of so to speak. Yeah, so that's the deep fried. Yeah, deep fried kind of like mushroom that we have, and the pumpkin, sliced pumpkin, right? And eggplant. All these ingredients, like all these tops, are like deep fried. Okay. Yeah. What type of curry is that? Like, is it Java curry or yeah? So I'm gonna. サムさんこれってどんな種類のカレーですか？ジャバカレーだったりとかなんかそのどういう市販のカレー？ Oh, right. Oh, dashi. Ah, okay. So, so she explains that like, so she first like, you know, chopped up onions and then like stir fry them like and until like they become brown, right? And then um, she added like curry powder, like well that's well curry powder that's basically kind of curry powder like maybe able to like find at supermarket, right? And then so she added like the dashi stock to it. So that's what this is basically. All right, so that's done. Nicely plated. Okay, another bowl. Okay, so for the other one, like I'm gonna use it like kind of regular curry udon noodles. Okay, so for noodles, right, I want to so like kind of place that noodles like kind of nicely, kind of combed, um, yeah, combed well. So like I'm not gonna warm it, like, you know. Okay, so for this one, yeah, so this is a kind of cold udon noodles, but like, so I'm gonna warm the curry sauce like an extra hot, and then kind of plate it like kind of like curry rice. Okay, so I heard the alarm for the noodles, so I'm gonna. Okay, so for udon noodles, right? For those of you like going, just like we have to wash them. You have to wash them because there's a lot of like starch that are coming out of like noodles, right? And it's kind of slimy, kind of like thing that's yeah, the that's a starch, and some people don't like it, so they have to wash them first, like right out of the noodle cooker, and you have like two sinks, right? Two double sink, and the first thing like you wash them, right, and then like second sink like you actually chill them with that cold water, or like even like some ices like in the summer. And so like that, you have to, that's why you actually portion it. So you portion noodles like that, kind of, unlike the ramen. For noodles that have like curry powder like needed in them, we have to cook them like 2 more minutes. So I'm just gonna leave them like that. And so over here, so back to plating. So that's tonkatsu. That's well, basically pork meat, slab pork meat with the the breadcrumbs and deep fried, covered like with breadcrumb like deep fried, and that's kind of famous. Kind of it's like Japanese cuisine. And then we have sweet potatoes. That's deep fried again. Or eggplant deep fried. Yeah, so it's like kind of like making like a layers of like kind of eggplant and like sweet potatoes and broccoli and mini tomato. That color. Okay, so that's that's done, and so it's a it's a cat's curry. Yeah, so it's a very famous, like kind of very popular type of dish that like I don't know, maybe like 50% of people like who visit like curry specialty shop like order cat's curry maybe. So that's how popular that is. Okay, so that's if from me. So thank you so much. And okay. All right, so that was the curry udon, but like curry udon is like so vast, like and then very deep, like in terms like variety and how far you can go, like the soup sauce and noodles as well. Like you have like different sizes, like you can have different shapes as for the noodles, right? And as she did, like, make me do like with that curry powder like needed in the noodles, right? And then that's like kind of curry plus curry, like curry on top of curry. So that's it's kind of crazy, but like you can do like if you want to make it spicier, and like you can do like with that chili powder as well, like make it red, hot, right? So that's just kind of just like really very surface of the curry udon, like we're talking about here. So yeah, with the limited time, like we try to cover as much as we can, but like curry udon, like something like we can probably make a whole class on, so we'll probably do this again, like in a different kind of like angle, from different angles, like different aspects, like curry udon for next class. Thank you so much, and stay healthy, stay safe. So thank you so much. Bye bye.